I'm dropping down a nice round oval on its side. I'm thinking of a nice big potato sitting in the middle of my paper. I'm going light and loose right now because I'm trying to formulate my shape. We're going to be drawing right on top of this, building up, and so make sure it's nice, light and loose, messy. It's okay because we're going to create new lines. Once we have our oval on the side, I'm dropping down my center guideline. I'm going to go from the tippy top of my paper all the way through to the bottom. Now I have a potato cut in half. And for our eye line, I'm only going to go down only about 60% on my paper, make a little mark for myself. Because now I'm going to start to draw in a U curve. I don't want her eye line to be a flat line. Because Ember, her fire moves a lot, and she is a round character. We see her face come towards us, and her nose even is a cute flame that sits upwards because fire rises. So when we build her up, we want it to look like her face is sitting up. And with this big U, I'm going to go ahead and start building our Ember. But I like to start off with our neck first. I'm dropping down underneath, and I'm putting a C curve right underneath our big oval first. And it's starting to swoop down by my guideline. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the right-hand side with those two C curves. Just like a tree trunk. You're correct. You winner, winner. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and start building up Ember's outfit. Her outfit is actually really awesome because she is a fire character. You know, she has metal for her clothing instead of, cotton. Imagine she's wearing cotton, poof, it'll be gone. So we're going to create a curvy V that sits right underneath her neckline. And it just is showing that this part of her collar is going to start to flare upwards. We're going to draw through our drawing right now, keeping our illustration nice and light before we lock down. I'm showing where the back parts of her collar will end. This collar does extend into her hood because as a fire character, her flames do rise and they get pretty big and bright when she's angry and pretty mellow when she's having a good time. And even when she's sad, her flames do go all the way down. With this, we want to go ahead and show that her collar has some dimension. So we're going to add another parenthesis curve that sits on the outside now, showing that collar sitting towards her shoulders. Now, nice and lightly, I'm going to go ahead and place down really small, a nice big boomerang curve. It's almost like an L, but we are curving it out. And Ember, her body is pretty small compared to her head. We do want it to sit almost pretty tiny underneath her body. Her shoulders do not go as far out as her head does. So once I have a nice little sketch, I'm personally going to go in now and lock this in. Earlier I was talking about locking in, and what that is essentially is putting down more graphite, really darkening up my line work, choosing the lines that I like a lot, making sure they stand out, which allows those sketchy lines to start to disappear. With illustrating though, sketching is really, really important. It helps you really figure out size, proportion, and you can alter as you go. So stay nice and light until you're ready to commit to the line. But with her dress, she doesn't have a tank top styled outfit. So we want to go back in here and show where the tank top starts. I'm going to place down a flat line that goes a little diagonally down towards the bottom. They go in towards each other on both shoulder sides to show that her dress does sit all the way on her body. And with that, I was talking about how our outfit is made out of chain, and we want to show that off. It would be crazy for us to sit here and go back and forth and draw chain after chain, hook after hook. So, for simpler reasons, I'm going to go ahead and go inside my illustration and just start to draw some lines. Starting at the top corner, reaching down towards her body, another one over here, and one more in the bottom. And see, you all can draw as many or as little lines as you want, but I'm going to do that same pattern over here on the other side. But if you're feeling a little extra and want to do some extra credit, you can go ahead and shade in this part because it is a little bit different color than her flames are. But with Ember, we want to start to think about her shape of her silhouette. Now that we finished her bottom, I want to go up to the top, right underneath our oval, and start rounding out where her cheeks are. I like to go over on this left-hand side, and I'm starting to extend a flattened out U. It's going to extend past my oval here, reaching up towards our guideline. And once I'm here at this guideline, this is where I'm going to put down a parenthesis curve. This is going to be us basically creating some ears for Miss Ember. She doesn't actually have ears as she is a fire element, but we want it to kind of look like that. I'm now blending and locking in this line to make sure it seamlessly goes into her neck. And on the right side, we're going to do basically that same curve. A nice U shape all the way up and out towards our guideline. Once we're here, we're going to make this one a little shorter. So another parenthesis curve. But this movie is really beautiful. It's directed by Peter Sohn, who's also the director of The Good Dinosaur. Has anyone seen that one? Yeah, well, this guy's pretty iconic. He's not only been a director here at Pixar, but he's also been a part of a lot of other things. If you all look up at the screen super duper quick, he is the director of Elemental, The Good Dinosaur, the voice actor of these guys right over here, and the character inspiration for Russell. He didn't have anything to do with that film, honestly. He was just in the studio one day and some artists were like, "Hey buddy, were you a cute kid?" And he was like, "Oh, probably." But they ended up using his baby photos as inspiration for Russell. But so for this movie, as he's become a bigger character here at Pixar, he started to utilize his own life story to tell in this specific film. Right now, I'm creating these little shark fins for Embers Flames by going back in towards my original oval. Now, flames are crazy. You know, they expand, get small, and they move a lot in the movie. So, no flame is specific. You all can copy how I'm drawing my flame. It's going to be lots of turns, lots of curves, and a little bit of points. But you can also draw these flames any way you want. I'm not really going to explain my curves when I'm doing the flames, just because it is a lot. I want to talk a bit more about Peter Sohn. So Peter, I was saying earlier, since he is such a big character here at Pixar, and he was able to now create his own story within this movie that he directed, he actually feels that this story is his, which I think is really awesome. He is from Korea and his family is as well, and he talks about how he relates more to Ember, as he wanted to be an artist instead of taking on his family business, which was selling fruits and vegetables. He felt like he had a big pressure to please his family, and also talks about how he felt like the love interest really resembles him and his partner. He met his wife here in the States, and they fell in love, and he felt like introducing her to his culture and family was a really big thing. So when I watched the movie Elemental, I get emotional thinking about it, because though this movie, I feel that the promotion did lack a little bit, not to bash on the Disney, because when I first watched it, I gasped at how beautiful it was. So if anyone out there has not seen this film yet, pretty please do so. The story's gorgeous. We see lots about family, culture, recognizing one another, and love. Speaking of love, this is Pixar's first rom-com. Ooh. When I first heard that, I was like, wait, what about WALL-E? What about Cars? Those were considered fantasy and sci-fi. So sci-fi for WALL-E, I guess so. Robots floating in space, maybe. But this one's truly a love story, as it does pertain about feelings and learning different emotions and how to control them and mixing of elements. Now that we have Embers Flames, we want to jump inside and actually start to build up her face. A great point to start with this will be her cute little nose. So I was talking earlier about how the nose is like a fire flame. So right on my cross here, I'm going to bring up another pointed arrow. These are curved lines. We don't want it super sharp, but since it is like a flame, we want it pointed. And usually in animation, we talk about that we save sharper lines for our more villain characters. This doesn't really pertain to her just because she is made out of an element, so that one's out. But she does have those pointy lines here, which is okay. She's still not a villain. But we're gonna have some really big eyes for Miss Ember. For her eyes, we're gonna start around her nose. And we're gonna start by bringing up these two little lines on each side of that nose. With that, we're gonna extend out a nice little rainbow top on each side and bring them over and down towards our outer edge. Her eyes are really big, really cute, and they do have a tilt to them. So when you wrap around your rainbow, try to make sure you got that angle in there. But with eyes in animation, eyes are really important because that's where we see a lot of emotion come from our characters. And we also like to build up eyes to have some character appeal when we look at them. For Ember specifically, her lash line is pretty thick, pretty dark. So as you build up her lash line on the top, make sure to really thicken it up. She does actually have lashes, kind of like her character design, like Minnie Mouse and Judy Hopps. She does have some nice lashes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. If you do your makeup every day, this is your time to shine. And if you don't do your makeup every day, lessons to be learned. When we do this lash line, we're only gonna give her 3 flakes of some mascara, basically. I like to start over here on the right-hand side and start on the outer side, bringing up a nice small C curve and dropping it back down towards our lash line, making sure to really give that sharp point. And we're gonna do the second one a little bit smaller, and then the third one. And we like to color these in nice and dark as well. But yeah, with this movie, we also see a lot of different elements, right? So in the Fire City, they actually have their own language, which is super cool. It's called Fire-ish. Do I have any Game of Thrones fans or Dune fans out here? Oh yeah. Well, you might know the name David J. Peterson. David J. Peterson is the developer of the languages used in those shows and movies. So this man, we asked over at Pixar to help develop the Fire-ish language, and he actually did. So the language that they use in the movie is a real one. You could learn it if you wanted to, and put that on your resume. Ta-da! But I think that's always so awesome. And like when worlds collide, Game of Thrones and Dune Man working at Pixar. But the languages are real and it's super sweet. For our eyes, my friends, we want to bring down just a very small little line on each edge, but not connecting it down to the bottom. We want them to stay nice and pointy and dark. And with our lashes, we need to draw in our pupils. They're nice and round and big. They go all the way to the tippy top of our eye and sit at the bottom where they should be the bottom. And with our eyes, we want those to be nice and dark. So make sure to really draw in our pupils nice and dark, my friends, because that's where our emotions are first seen, where we're drawn to. So go ahead and use the side of your pencil to do that. All we had to do is add in Miss Ember's cute smile and her little brows. And she is a bit more confident than her love interest Wade is. Mm-hmm. She's Fire-ish, she knows she can do things and accomplish what she wants, and she does have a silly temper, me too. But with that, we want to give her a confident little smirk. She's not as in tune with her emotions as her boyfriend Wade is. Wade will win the crying award. I'm proud of him for that. So we want to show a nice small U right underneath her nose for Ember's smile. She's not as in tune with her smile as is Wade. He is a big old cheesy grin, so we're giving her a nice little U. And for her eyebrows, we want to jump up right above her eyes. And her eyebrows are going to be a little silly, a little fun. So we're going to give her some sass. I want to jump over here and do one big U, or one big rainbow curve, right above my left eye. I'm building it up, allowing it to get nice and thick in the center, and keep the points on the ends. And this way, we can just color those ends and allow the right eye to have a flatter U and points on the ends as well. Color those in nice and dark, just like we did her eyes and eyelashes. But with that, that's the rest of Ember. So, if you want to color her in, maybe show her flames that have a little flare, or maybe you want to show little sparks around your Ember, because her fire is popping off of her. Whatever you want is going to be extra credit, friends. I'm going to put a cute little diamond showing that spark flame. But the last thing any artist should do is a signature. So somewhere on your paper, go ahead and sign your name, as you all just made Ember. How did you all do? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I hope you guys had an awesome time. Give yourself a big round of applause, because this character is a little bit harder to do.